Tottenham 2, Arsenal 0. We're top of the league and it's been a great weekend. Welcome back, guys, to my Premier League show. I hope you had a great weekend because it's been a good one for me. And we're going to get straight into it. So, what I thought I'd do is go over some of the big games, but sort of single out one big game every week and kind of look into it. And this week, it's Tottenham Arsenal, obviously, but it's not always going to be Tottenham games. We're probably going to end up doing City United next weekend. But let's just go over some of the other games from this week. So let's start with, again, there isn't much to really look into the City game. City Fulham, they won 2-0. It was quite comfortable. Sterling and KDB looked really good. And that's scary to have the two of them sort of back. I think Sterling's one of the best wingers in the world on form. And KDB behind him is just scary. And City's picking it up after the first few weeks of people saying that, not even people saying, of them having really poor results. They're kind of hitting form again and it's scary. And the other team in the exact same position is United. United looks so much worse than they were last season, the beginning of this one. But we spoke about consistency last week. And again, there hasn't been consistency because they lost to PSG midweek and they were poor. But Southampton and West Ham, same story. Poor first half, amazing second half. And for once, and I know Oli gets a lot of slack for his substitutions. Midweek against PSG, every single person watching that match knew Fred was going to get sent off. I don't know how he wasn't taken off at halftime. But this weekend, his subs were spot on. And Bruno Fernandes changed the game again. That's another scary pair. Fernandes and Rashford. I think people are sleeping on United because they're fifth in the table. They have 19 points with a game in hand. So they win that game and they're level on points with Chelsea. So I don't see how they're not title contenders. I know it's going to be hard, but they're really not out of it. They've got a super tough week. They play Leipzig midweek and they have to draw to stay in the Champions League. And then they play City on the weekend and that's going to be a big one. If United win that game, that's a huge statement win. In terms of obviously beating City, it's going to be insane for momentum. But also that they're in this race because they're really not far off. The next game, I think Chelsea, Leeds and Liverpool Wolves played out exactly as I thought. I was just hoping for the opposite results. But really, let's look at Chelsea Leeds first. And I want to do a deep dive video into Leeds, the way they play, Bielsa's tactics. But this is where I just feel like it's a little naive. Because I understand that that's the kind of football they play. They play a high press, they play fast football. But it played right into Chelsea's hands. And sometimes I feel like it's not that hard to just slow the game down a little bit when it's not going in your favor. They got the lead, but Chelsea were just on it from there. For the first half an hour of the game, because it was really fast end to end, I thought this is not a Giroud game. But he proved me wrong. He was amazing. Got the goal. Held the ball up. Passed it around. And that's scary considering he was their third choice striker. To be fair, I saw a lot of Leeds fans online talking about how they know that this is what happens and this is the way they play. But I felt like to some extent it was avoidable. Apart from that goal they scored and a couple of chances, the tempo of the game really suited Chelsea. It worked in their favour. And I think the exact same thing happened for Liverpool. This team is just too good. It doesn't matter. The injuries don't matter. They're too good. And I'm scared of them. But it was the same thing. Wolves just weren't able to slow it down. They're not able to just keep the ball for a while. And they played right into Liverpool's hands. If you saw the first goal, the Salah goal, Connor Cody's tried to chest the ball down. I think it was just inside his D. Just head that out. I know they play out from the back, they hold the ball, they push up the field quickly. But it just didn't work. For teams like Liverpool, it just plays straight into their hands. But they were brilliant. Salah scored a sick goal. Wijnaldum scored a sick goal. And Yeah, they're just looking scary. I'll tell you what. When Tottenham played City, I was confident. When we played Chelsea, I was a little nervous. I was confident against Arsenal. I'm scared against Liverpool. And this should be the year where this was the easiest fixture in terms of playing a Liverpool side because of the injuries. But they really look scary, and anyone who doesn't think they're title favourites is really out of their mind. And so we get to the North London derby, where Jose Mourinho has put. I cannot even call it a masterclass because it wasn't a masterclass. Arsenal just played right into the trap. I felt like that game was so comfortable. And I heard Arteta talk about how they lost, they played well and they lost to a wonder goal. And then for the second goal, Partey was walking off. But they played right into it, to be honest. It wasn't a game where Arsenal was so solid and resolute that Tottenham only created 3 chances and was so clinical and scored 2. Although they did have 3 shots on target and they scored 2. But they just let Arsenal come at them. And again, it was like everybody said Mourinho's going to set up like this. This is what he's going to do. He's going to sit back and Arsenal play pragmatic football. So what's going to happen in this game? But they walked right into it. They did exactly what Tottenham wanted them to do, and it worked perfectly. Some of the interesting things about this game, like really at this point, I don't even look at possession stats and stuff because it doesn't matter. They had 70% possession. They put in 44 crosses, but to the crosses, 44 crosses sounds like they were really attacking. It was really deadly, but I found a really interesting stat. Aubameyang has 56 goals in the Premier League. Lacazette has 40 goals in the Premier League. Lacazette has 4 headed goals. Aubameyang has 3 headed goals. Between the two of them, 96 goals and 7 headed goals. How can crossing to them be your strategy? How can that be a tactic to win? Not even win, to get back in a game. It doesn't make any sense. And I think that's the problem with Arsenal this season. They just look like they have nothing in the locker when it comes to attacking. And I don't mean, I'm not going off on Arsenal because I hate them, even though I do. But it's just so poor. And I get that Arteta has to back his team and back his players. But he came out and said, we dominated the game and I was so happy with their performance. What are you talking about? You played right into a trap. Tottenham let you have the ball. You had the ball. I felt like they should have tried to do what we did for at least a spell in the game. They didn't even attempt to give us the ball, sit back, get the line up a bit. It just didn't happen. And here's what's worrying for them. 70% possession, 44 crosses. Lloris made 2 saves. One of them was straight into his hand. He made 1 save that whole game. And that's the reality. The only player on that pitch who looked half decent, according to me, in this game was Lacazette. Partey looked good, but he went off early. And again, I don't know whose decision it is, whether it's Arteta's decision or the physio's decision or the medical team or whoever, to rush him back for this game. But it didn't work. And you've got one of your most important players possibly out for a longer period because you rushed him back for a game. At this point, you've got to ask questions about... I understand the system with the club is not great. They're not backing their manager. But the question is simply, is Arteta getting the best out of these players? And I don't see how he is. They have to be better than 15th on the table. It's really getting ridiculous at this point. At the same time, I'm super happy with the way Tottenham's playing. But I just can't get my head around being confident about it. I don't know why. We've conceded 0 goals against City, Chelsea and Arsenal off the bounce. We've somehow got 5 clean sheets in the Premier League this season. But it's still every game you feel that nervousness of, even in the 80th minute, if we concede now, we'll concede a second. It'll all just crumble. But I've got to give it to Mourinho. He's really getting the best out of players I never imagined could play this well. And that's not to say that it's going to last and it all can't come crashing down or anything like that. But at this point, I'm seeing Serge Aurier play better football than he's ever played in his life. I'm seeing Eric Dyer play better football than he's played in his life. And I'm all in with Mourinho. I know that fans from teams that he has managed have a completely different story, saying this is how it is in the beginning and he's going to leave the team in shambles. But I only think that's partially true, because at the end of the day, he won the league with Chelsea. Everything went to shit. They sacked him immediately. They won the league again next year. He set up that team well. It didn't all go to shit. So, I'm hoping for Mourinho 2.0. I'm not confident about it. I'm not confident about our team. But right now, we're doing great. I hope you guys liked this video. I actually shot a video previewing this weekend's games, but I messed it up completely, so I couldn't upload it. I'm hoping to do one before the weekend. I've got a lot of plans for this channel and things I want to do, and hopefully they play out and I don't just sit on them. But if you are enjoying this content, please drop a like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.